Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us in another one of these interviews for a Black History Month for our activities. My name is Mandisa Greene. I'm the Senior Vice-President of the Royal College of Veterinary Surgeons, and I'm delighted to have here with me today Reanne McDonald, who is a third-year vet student at the University of Liverpool Vet School. So hi, Reanne.
Hello, hi.
So I just want to take you back to, I guess, when you remember, as far as you can remember, when did you first decide you wanted to become a vet?
Oh, I'd probably say it was about 10 years old, I must have been. My nan had a cat, and my dad started taking me to riding lessons. I realised that I really, really did like spending time and interacting with animals. So I think that started my journey off, probably.
So I want to address the topic of social mobility and the idea that with every generation, it's expected that the generation that comes after does better than the generation that comes before it. So at 10 years old, when you decided you wanted to be a vet, how did that land with your family?
I have to be honest, my parents were taken aback a bit. We don't have animals in our household, so they were very shocked as to where it exactly came from, this love of animals and serious interest in that kind of field. But they supported me by taking me to shows. I continued my riding lessons for a bit as well, different books, catalogues, anything that was animal related. My parents had me in there. I was watching Wild at Heart on TV and Super Vet. So they did everything to make sure that they were feeding the interest I had. So yeah, it's been something that's constantly been an interest, and I've constantly been dripped information of this field since I was about 10.
That's wonderful. So you've always had that support, and that's been consistent throughout your life, which is really, really great to hear. So if I can talk you through about how you came to vet school, so how you came to become a vet student. So tell me about your journey.
So my journey might not be, I'd say, the typical vet journey. I didn't get the best A-levels and go straight from sixth form to uni. Instead, I was at sixth form for a bit, and then after that, I then ended up going to a different university and studying an animal science related course. I really loved the course, and because of my A-levels and maybe my self-confidence, I didn't think I was going to be clever enough to get into vet school. And I just kind of thought, okay, it's still in the field that you kind of like try out this career, it could work for you. But it got to my second year of my degree, and this is where I found out I was dyslexic. So it was a bit of a shock to me at the time. Really nice and kind of relieving to find out that there are people that can support me, and that there's nothing wrong with me, but I just have a different way of thinking in certain situations. And now that I know that, I can get the support to help me with that. So with this diagnosis and a bit of confidence, I decided in third year that I didn't want to settle for a career that wasn't my dream. And I applied to vet school. My friends thought I was crazy, but I have absolutely no regrets. I applied and spent a year of working, getting work experience, and saving up money. And I started vet school in 2019.
Wonderful. So how did you do your research as to which vet schools to apply to, what experience you needed and stuff like that?
It's so important if you've got any interest in the field, especially vet med, to do your research. That's step one. And for me personally, some people would go to the career advice and things like that at school, but because of the age I was at, I didn't really I didn't choose that route. Instead, I spoke to some vets that I knew. I actually contacted the RCVS as well, and they have information and support out there. And I also just looked to see individually what university was what each university was asking for. That's the most important thing, because they are slightly varied, especially with the work experience level. And on top of that, as a second degree, it depended on like specific grades I needed to have, or my work experience. Even fees vary sometimes because of that. So individual websites, and I also found EdVet really useful. So Liverpool University have like a team called EdVet, and it has loads of information about applying to vet school, work experience, writing personal statements. So it literally just takes you step by step of the things you need to look for, how to write your personal statement, and just it helps you, gives you a holding hand the whole way through the application process, which I thought was really valuable.
That sounds really, really valuable, and really a wonderful resource for people to be able to use. So thank you for letting us know that. So if I can take you back to growing up, you were saying that you did not grow up with any animals in your home. Your grandmother had a cat, and you had riding lessons. And so had you ever been to a vet before you went to vet school?
No, originally not. I'd probably say it was when I needed to apply for work experience was when I started to go to the vets and see what it was like to be a vet. I did actually, come to think right, I did go once for 2 weeks before, when I went to my first degree, before I applied for that. I thought it'd be good to see the field that I was actually interested in, and therefore I did go for 2 weeks. So I would actually say, if anyone has any interest in the field, it's always good to get work experience and exposure. Me, myself as well, in my gap year, I worked as an ACA, so an animal care assistant, which then also got me used to some of the terminology that was used in placement, and to make sure that this is definitely the industry that I want to be part of. I knew I wasn't interested necessarily at the time in maybe like legislation or other aspects of animal welfare and science and medicine. It was me being in practice. That was the thing that I really enjoyed. And I only found that out by doing it. That's the only way you're going to know that this is definitely for you, is by going out there, meeting people, meeting all the vets, the vet nurses, the whole team, and getting yourself stuck in is the only way you can say, yes, this is where I want to be.
And so if I take you to where you are now, so you've got into vet school, how are you finding getting your, because you shared with us that you had a diagnosis of dyslexia in your second year of your first degree. So how are you finding the degree with your trying to cope with that, with the educational needs that you have as well?
I'm going to be honest, the course is hard. I think the course is hard for everyone. Just everyone has different parts of the course that they struggle with. And for mine, it's some of the terminology. But I think regardless of my dyslexia, I know that with the support in place that the university has offered me, I'm going to succeed at this course. So they've got, for me, I have like a plan. So my lecturers are aware that I have dyslexia, and it's taken into consideration. And if I need extra help with like accessing certain things, maybe so I can read things a bit more ahead of time, because it might take me a bit longer, they're understanding of that fact. And there's loads of other things that I put in place to make sure that I am getting the best from the course, the most from the course that I possibly can. It's not just the university, like the course, the vet school itself, but the university itself has, like, it helps me with support as well. So I have someone to help me go through terminology on a weekly basis. It's down to me, it's my learning, and I get to choose what I want to cover. So it is really nice to know that I have that safety blanket, and if I'm feeling overwhelmed, there's so many people I can talk to.
Absolutely. And so that's really nice to hear that the university and the vet school and the university have lots and lots of support to offer you, so that you know that you're not alone in this journey, and you're being supported with all your educational needs. That's really, really wonderful to hear. So I've got another question for you. So what is the best part of being in vet school?
Ooh. There's so many things, but if I'm being honest, it's the community. I have so much support. Everyone's going through it, everyone, and people are qualified all the way to first years. I think everyone just supports each other. Everyone understands what each other are going through. And it's just the fact that everyone's understanding and patient of that fact. That is probably the nicest thing, because it is a hard course and no man is an island. It is doing it by yourself, all by yourself, is very strenuous and almost near enough impossible. So having that supportive network is the best thing about this course. I have to admit.
Yeah, no, I think I think you touched on something really important in that support is really, really vital. So, and so last question, how are your parents feeling about you, about your journey this far in?
When I first went to vet school and told my family I was going, my parents were very supportive. So were my family, but they were very surprised that I was going to be an animal doctor. They thought it was crazy. They thought I'd lost my mind. But now my parents are so proud of me and so supportive as well. And I'll just say I have been a bit teary actually, that I've got this far. I can't believe I've got this far, and I'm nearly halfway, which is just insane. I never thought that I'd be at this point in my life. So anyone who's out there who thinks that veterinary is something that they're interested in, but they're not sure if it's for them, or they don't think that people look like them maybe in vet school, or they might have something that's not the usual or different, like, it's for you. If you're interested in it, this field is for you. Vet school or veterinary, the whole industry is for anybody. As long as you have the passion and the drive to succeed, do it. Life's too short.